Is there some spiritual, mystical, deep, Kabbalistic meaning to this 3-eye Atlas comet? Is there something more to it? Are we being communicated by aliens? Is this a probe? Is this a telecommunication device from some other civilization? And what does the Bible and the deepest teachings of Kabbalah have to say about it? So first, the first lesson is that the most important thing in our service of God is to be earnest and simple and sincere and complete, and not try to make sense of signs and symbols and these headlines of the day. The most important thing is to simply serve God and to uncover what our mission and purpose is for our life. But it's a topic of interest. People are talking about this comet. And we know that everything is meaningful in the world. God is orchestrating every event, from the greatest to the smallest. What is the difference between great and small in science? You have the astronomers care about the big stuff, and you have the physicists care about the small stuff. The smaller the particle, the better. And for an astronomer, this is a very big thing that's coming close to Earth. This 3-eye Atlas comet. So let's learn something from it. But again, keeping the focus on our divine service. What lesson could we learn from this? So the first thing is we're going to bring a verse from Numbers. And the verse reads like this. It's from Numbers 24:17. A star shall go forth from Jacob. So Jacob represents the Jewish people. It's the third of the 3 patriarchs. There's 4 matriarchs to the Jewish people and 3 patriarchs. You have Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And the matriarchs, you have Sarah, Rebecca, Leah, and Rachel. So Jacob, who's also known as Israel, is the third of the 3 patriarchs of the Jewish people. So what does it mean, a star going forth from Jacob? First, you can imagine a shooting star. It's something that is depicted in movies. You wish upon a shooting star. What is the wish? And what does a shooting star represent? So there's 3 opinions according to the Jewish sages what a shooting star represents. The one opinion is that it represents King David, the righteous king of Israel. Another opinion is that it represents every single one of the Jewish people. That every Jewish person is a star in their own right. What makes them a star is that they're shining. They're lamplighters. They're shining godliness in this world by teaching the Bible, being a light unto the nations. And the third opinion of this shooting star is that this relates to Mashiach himself, the Jewish Redeemer, the Jewish Messiah. So I know a comet is not exactly a shooting star, but if we abstract, we can imagine that we're fixated on an object that's shooting through space. So regardless of what the nature of that actual object is, like we said, is it a comet? Or as one physicist suggests, maybe it's an alien probe? Regardless, it's an object that's shooting through space, and this reminds us of this verse from Numbers and these 3 explanations of what this shooting star, what this object is that's shooting through space. What does it represent? So it represents 3 things. Either King David, the Jewish people, each individual amongst the Jewish people, or the Mashiach, the Jewish Messiah. So what do we learn from this? And what do we learn from this fascination? So we said the first thing is that this is the third intergalactic object. That's why it's called 3I. And there's three things that we learn from shooting objects in space. So that's the first thing we can learn. But the second relates to the physicist that says maybe this is an alien probe. Maybe we should say, welcome to the neighborhood. Peace. So this same physicist led a talk discussing another episode, not from this verse in Numbers, another episode in the Bible. The first encounter between Moses and God at the burning bush. This was prior to Moses becoming the Redeemer at that time. What did he redeem? He redeemed the Jewish people from their slavery in Egypt for the sake of receiving the Bible at Mount Sinai, and ultimately having the Jewish people enter the land of Israel. So God appeared to Moses at a burning bush, and what's so special about this burning bush? As many people know, the bush was not burned. It was burning, but the leaves were not being consumed. And so this physicist used this as an example to say that we should be open to messages from afar. Meaning, maybe there's aliens. How do we know if we're not listening? If we're not open to this possibility that there's aliens? But there's a much simpler and straightforward explanation. Is that when we see a headline, a comet coming towards Earth, this is a message from afar. But we can say something much more straightforward. This is not a message from aliens. This is a lesson that we can learn. There's lessons that we can learn in what's called the divine providence of this event. There's lessons we can learn from God. That maybe there's a message here that we can unpack. So we said that, again, the most important path of life is to simply, earnestly, sincerely serve God. But it's a topic of interest. And if there's things that we can learn about this headline, this comet, that help in our service of God, then great. Because it is also true that everything is meaningful. That God is orchestrating all of reality, down to the minutest detail. From the large objects that astronomers talk about, to the minutest particles and subatomic particles and strings and superstrings and quarks that physicists talk about. So it's very interesting that this physicist had noted one of his reasonings for saying maybe this is of alien origin. Maybe this is not just any comet. Maybe this is some probe of some sort, some alien-made device. Is that it seems to be generating its own light. So here is a beautiful correspondence, a beautiful lesson that we can learn from that. That in our lives, we're here in this world for 60, 70, 80 years, however long we're here. Each of our lives is like a shooting star. And we have to make sure to shine the light of our soul as much as we can to the world. So like we said, one of the opinions is that it relates to each one of the Jewish people. And actually, anyone in the world can emulate the path of Abraham to promote monotheism, to promote the oneness of God in all of creation, to promote the goodness of all of humanity. So that relates to Abraham. And that's something that each of us can emulate, both Jews and the nations of the world. So one of the lessons is that our lives are like shooting across the landscape of this world. And we have to think about the story that we're telling, the legacy that we're leaving, and the light, the trail, this light that we're leaving. This this comet trail of light. So we have a lasting, our good actions, our holy actions, our sincere and pure actions have a lasting effect. Even if our star is shooting over the night sky for however long our lifetime is in this world, to know that we have a lasting effect. What's another lesson? So we also have a leadership potential. This is learnt by King David, that's one of the examples, and also by the Mashiach himself. He's a leader, that we can be leaders in our lives. So that's another important example. So there's the collective experience of us all seeing this headline, us all witnessing and being fascinated by this headline, and also the individual. It's a wake-up call for us individually to shine the light of the potential of our soul in this world. So something very appropriate. So we said that everything is by divine providence, everything is orchestrated by God. So this comet is lighting up the night sky. So let's relate it to a day in the calendar. Let's imagine a day in the calendar where we celebrate light triumphing over darkness, light shining throughout the world, the light of holiness. So if you think, what's a Jewish holiday that represents that? Oh, that would be Hanukkah, right? That's a good idea. You have the lights of the miracle of Hanukkah, celebrating the miracles of Hanukkah, and that light is illuminating the world. Like we have public menorah lightings. So as many people to see it as possible. That's publicizing the miracle that God did and continues to do. But God did on that holiday of that we celebrate, that we commemorate during the holiday of Hanukkah with the Maccabees in the land of Israel and in Jerusalem, in Modi'in. So we celebrate those miracles, both in terms of the war of the Maccabees, and also the light of oil, the small jug of oil that was only enough to burn one day. It burnt 8 days. The menorah, the candelabra in the Holy Temple. So that was two different miracles that we celebrate on this holiday of Hanukkah. So it's the light of holiness over secularism, the light of belief and faith in God over this. Let's call it modernism. So there's a specific day in Hanukkah that represents that. That's called the 5th day of Hanukkah. Why the 5th day? Because remember, there's 8 nights of Hanukkah. So on the 5th day, you have 5 candles, and you have that you light in addition to the shamash. It's called the candle that lights the other candles. So you have 9 candles in total, but you have 8 candles plus 1. So you have 8 for the 8 nights of Hanukkah, and then you have the candle that lights the other ones. So on the fifth night and the 5th day of Hanukkah, that's when there's more light than darkness. That's when there's more candles than not candles. That's when you have 5 candles that are lit, 5 placeholders that are lit on the menorah, and 3 that aren't lit. So if there's any day that we're celebrating light over darkness, the light of faith and belief in God, of good triumphing over evil, all that we celebrate, all that we want to celebrate in this world, all that a faith-based person wants to celebrate, to bring that faith down into practical reality. So that would be the 5th day of Hanukkah. So when is this comet coming closest to the Earth? When did they say this comet is coming closest to the Earth? You guessed it, the 5th day of Hanukkah, which corresponds to December 19th. So there, it's beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Again, just another example, everything's by divine providence. But again, what's the point? Is not to be fixated on comets and astrological phenomena, to know that we are much more than that. We're beyond all of that, beyond the zodiac, beyond the stars, because God took Abraham above the stars, above the zodiac, above the constellations, and just simply focusing on our simple, pure, holy connection with God, and to see, okay, God, why am I here? What is needed of me today? Thank you.